What's up, Internet? Welcome back to Robb's Garage. I am Robb. This here is my garage, and I'm pretty frustrated. It's a weeknight, got a lot of work to do, and I'm stuck sweating in the garage tonight trying to fix my teenage daughter's 2008 BMW 328i. It's an E90, so sedan here. She had a washer fluid reservoir go out. Should be a fairly simple procedure to replace, had a crack in it. But after I reinstalled the new one, still had leaks. So I want to show you all some lessons I learned about ordering the parts and installing them. And I hope it's beneficial for all of you out there. Stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, this white piece of plastic that I've got resting on the engine here is a washer fluid reservoir, a brand new washer fluid reservoir. And the way that these work is you've got 3 different locations for a pump. Your traditional standard windshield washer pump goes here. If you happen to have a BMW with a rear wiper blade with washer fluid pumping to it, you would have another pump here. And if you happen to have the option with the headlight washers, you'd have a third pump here. Now, the way, this particular 328 is not equipped with either a rear or, a front washer pump for the headlights. Just had the traditional washer pump for the windshield. So there was openings, crevices here, but they were blocked off. This part that I received is a quote unquote universal part, and it actually came with plastic or rubber grommets to cover up the holes. So if you wanted to use this on pretty much any E90 or E92 3 Series, you've got the ability to use it with, any of 1 to 3 different types of washer fluid pumps. So the first lesson I learned tonight on this project is if you order one of these washer fluid reservoirs, make sure it's not a universal part. I buy a lot of parts from Rock Auto. Normally they don't let me down, but this time they did. It was not marked as a universal part. It specifically said it only had this opening here, but it ended up with rubber grommet. Now, what I'm doing for my solution is, because I'm in a rush and I don't have time to wait for them to send me another one, is I'm using some of this JB weld, and I've popped off this first rubber grommet. I put a layer of JB weld around, the seal, and then on top of it, I'll do the same thing with this one next. But the tolerances on these rubber grommets are just terrible. They're just, it's not tight enough. So that's lesson number 1. While I was at it, I went ahead and got a new sending unit here for the washer fluid level. It's pretty simple to take on and off. You can see how you twist, pull out. Lesson number 2 tonight starts with where you actually fill up the washer fluid. A lot of people, know where to put their washer fluid in their car, but they don't know where it goes. Well, here's the mystery. It goes down a tube like that, comes down a hose right here, which is then attached to your washer fluid reservoir, which mysteriously hides back here in this fender. A lot of new cars have them hidden up in the inner fenders. Well, lesson number 2 for me was when I reinstalled this, not only did I have a leak coming off of those rubber grommets that I showed, but I also had a little leak coming off of this O-ring. So where this hose goes into the reservoir, went and bought me a brand new O-ring. And finally, lesson number 3 tonight, the Boy Scout motto, be prepared. If you're going to remove this, be prepared you're going to have other things to replace, such as a washer pump itself. The pump was working, but once I put the pump back in, this new reservoir, so notice that there was a little bit of a leak coming out of that seal as well. So kind of a one-time use, not really, but when you're 14 years old, that's what happens. Cars these age, these rubber pieces. So fortunately for me, I already had a new washer pump that I'd ordered for my M3, and it's the exact same one. It needs to be replaced here. It's got a brand new seal, so I already connected it and got that ready to go. But when I put it on, this rubber hose that comes in here, and this is where it actually pumps out, it actually was a little worn as well. So I actually had to take some scissors and cut a little piece off because of the way it was just worn over time. You can see how it's kind of got a little warped. So I shortened it just a little bit and got a tighter fit. So 3 lessons learned tonight on what should have been a simple job. Overall, on my scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most difficult DIY project, 1 being the easiest, I'd probably rank this as a 2. It's really not that difficult, but lots of lessons learned. I hope that all of you can benefit from my experience, my frustration. So next, let me walk you through the job. So it's really not that difficult. As you know, find your jacking spot right here. And before you do, I would recommend loosening the lug nuts on the wheel. Make sure you've got the right torque wrench. You're gonna need it to put the lug nuts back on, or in this case, lug bolts. All right, so loosen them up, jack the car up, take the wheel completely off. Now here's the tools you're gonna need to do the job. The first part is removing this inner fender here. Now I've just got it held up here loosely because I want to use it as, I haven't put it back together yet. I just want to show everybody the steps. The tools you'll need, number one, you're gonna need this little punch like this and a panel remover like that, because there's some nifty little, look at these here. These go on the side to hold this in. So they're in there, you have to punch through it and then use the panel remover to pull them out. There's 3 of these. All right, there's also one of these underneath. You can use another panel remover for. You're gonna have 4 10mm nuts like this in various locations. I think the first one is down here, and the other one over here, and then there's 2 underneath, okay? To get to those, you're gonna have to take off this panel piece right here. It's gonna be hanging down. But you have to remove this one to get to those last 2 bolts. And that panel uses 8mm nuts or bolts like this, cheap ones. And there's 6 total in various locations. There's 2 on this panel down here, and then 4 in other places on the inner fender, like here, for example, up in there. Okay, and then lastly, there is this 10mm bolt that attaches, the only bolt that attaches that washer fluid reservoir to the car itself. I'll show you that. The panel takes a little bit of maneuvering, but you can see, just pull it out. This, okay, not that difficult. So that gives you access to where the washer fluid reservoir resides in here. Like I said, there's 1 bolt that holds it in. It goes up there. Then back here, it's kind of a press fit. The back of the washer fluid reservoir pushes into that. When you go to remove the washer fluid reservoir, you're gonna have to disconnect this pipe and disconnect the connectors by pulling this out. And there's 1 electrical connector for that sending unit right here. So just take your time. Don't just yank it, don't pull, just 1 step at a time, you'll find it all. This wiring harness here attaches, you'll see it's got this this plastic piece that attaches it to the reservoir. Let me show you how you remove those. So you don't want to break this piece of plastic. Here's one, and the other one attaches, I believe, here, okay? So the way you remove them, you take this panel remover, put it up there, and you'll just pop it off. So you push it, you pop it off. I don't want it to fall down, but it's essentially that easy. On the back here, this is the hole where the pipe comes in. So be very careful, don't bend that open too much. You want it to be a nice press fit inside there. And that's basically it. And here's what the washer fluid reservoir looks like, all installed. Here you go, you can see, got the wire loom there and there. The filler hose connected, bolt on, nice and secure. I will let it cure overnight, fill it tomorrow, test for leaks. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to subscribe so you can catch more do-it-yourself and track day videos on BMWs, Range Rovers, a couple other surprises over here on the left. Thanks.